So I want to spend just 5 minutes talking about the previous week. I always do a little refresher for my brain and just think how it went. So might as well just make that a little bit more public. We've been having a pretty good time on this first poll. Abusement is reliable when it comes to shouting, so it just comes down to everyone else being reliable and not griefing that when it comes to um, I would like to make sure that there's a shield on abusement always going into it from a priest. Priests are always shielding other people, and then, yeah, we just kill stuff after the shout happens. So, boom, shout, and then pump. So, like Tryon, I felt like went half a second too early. He's just got to relax just slightly, or make sure you have that bop earlier. And then we unboon, and from there we blast. So not a whole ton to talk about at the start. Hux kind of scared me here. Let's look at this again. I think he gets pulled in and multiple things hit him. Gets down pretty low health, but a good priest shield. So in general, really impressed with our healers and how they handle things. We don't do AoE shouts, so glad that people held themselves through this. And Warriors did a good job on the couple AoE shots that we did need through this area. Then this all went well. Pretty good kicks throughout. And on this boss, kind of weird disaster. So I think a lot of people got silenced. Necro got silenced. Maybe some other people. Looks like Square's just running loose and bonk Shala. Let's just look at what actually killed Shala there. Logs. So we click on Fairlina. Damage taken. Can click on Shala. Click on events so we can see the timeline of it. When it's taking this long, it's okay. Oh, so it's just ran a fire. So the big thing is that need to cleanse himself early. And I mean, hopefully we wouldn't have this damage at the start happen. And he just needs to make sure he stands out of rain of fire. But yeah, that wasn't the way that I thought the death happened. But so at the start of this pull, right when this pull happens, we need the priest to do the pop. But I feel like that was pretty quick. Yeah, just need to be quicker. Like as soon as this happens, mind control now, pop now. Just a little too slow. A little unfortunate with the timing, but yeah. So it just ticks down and then the fire. So this is where things got really crazy, where we had a Giga pull. I'll just let this play out and we'll just see what happens. So we handled that well. Got scary right after we res, and then I got a little impatient. So we just res, and then this happens. So this got a little panicky. So yeah, people were freaking out here. We chilled. It all calmed down. But yeah, that got a little bit sketch. And so we lost a couple people there during that gigapole. In general, the way that people handled themselves really impressed me. I think Sozo petried one or two other petries to make sure that they didn't die. Because yeah, that was a lot of damage output. Most of the damage from this pull was the um, dot over time from the gargoyles. What was really deadly though is just the couple times that the ticking damage of the volley went out. So a couple people did a really good job being far enough away that they were getting hit by less damage. The arcane explosion in combination with the volley was just too much for a lot of us to handle. But the Hellstones, Whippers, all that kind of stuff, really, really good. Lots of people using dummies. So just really good gameplay overall. Very impressed how we were able to get through that. And yeah, I will take the blame for being a little bit in the front when it came to the poll. So my bad. We always want a lawnmower mode and make sure that we are just killing one pack after the next and never having to deal with that. So through here, our goal is to kill Skull as fast as possible. I thought we handled ourselves well. We didn't really ever have dangerous pulls to deal with because, like I said, we just one after the other and we kill Skull quickly. On this one, we need to make sure that we're using prayers like going into it. Like right now, start prayer of heals. Some people are really quick with it, and some groups are a little bit slower. It's just a lot of damage output, but we turned out to be fine. As long as we kill one or two of these mobs really quick, it's not like more damage happens. So it's just surviving that first little burst. So again, this is right here an area where pre-shields is really good. I should just start calling out like pre-shields on people right here. And then Resuvius, we booned for it. That's not something that we usually do. So that slowed down the pace of the raid a little bit. This was another scary pull. So we blast down the middle pack and get death coiled into the others. We need really quick demos when this happens. Lots of people get low here. The key was that the second charge happened. If this X had charged again, it would have been really bad. So in situations like this, we just have to have high damage output to deal with the high damage that we're taking. And Resuvius went really well. The priest did a good job. Not much to say here. Just making sure that the taunt is used each time. Easy peasy. I pulled too early here. I thought that we were ready. Didn't realize that the ads still had full health. So as soon as this boss dies, just make sure both ads are dropped. That looks like that X ad wasn't dropped very quick. I was in go-go mode, but I need to slow down. So yeah, very scary. Healers were a little mad at me at this part because we don't have buffs out. Lower health pool, it's just really easy chance to die. Speaking of that, we get absolutely mowed down on this pack. So this is why we should just pull this pack farther back. Um, People charge in at a couple times throughout this raid, and this is one of those times where charging forward isn't great. Death coiled into the next pack here, and we just weren't ready for it. Needed to instantly be killing Skull here. I feel like people were focused on finishing off that Cavalier, not the focus. As soon as this pack is pulled, we needed to kill Skull and X as quick as possible. We just get nuked here by the Skull and X being alive, and then the Square and Moon, they just destroy us. I'm not going to bother seeing if they're disarmed before the spin starts. I think a disarm eventually does happen. A little hard to see from this vantage point. Not the end of the world, but yeah, this was definitely a morale killer to lose like 15, 20 people on this poll. But everyone that died, they had booned their buffs, so I'm glad we were all on the same page with what we were supposed to do, and we got through it. Gothic, not much to say here. It is what it is. Easy peasy. So for Horsemen, I thought that boss went well. This area, the trash went well. We just kind of lawnmower mode and got through it. High damage here. So we had stacks still, and I just went a little quick going into this. Casters needed to stay farther back. Casters that got hit by volley here were too close. Like Heal Sniper, look how Heal Sniper isn't getting hit by the volley. And they could have done a cast. I mean, maybe you can't cast in like precast, that's the problem, right? But you just have to play super safe when we're all taking a heavy damage like this. Don't have buffs out, things live a little longer. So it's got a little sketch, but we handled it well. Again, this is lawnmower mode. We just go one pack to the next. And we cleave, cleave, cleave. We just didn't want to accidentally pull the pack behind us. That was the danger. Looks like that was a bop on Necro that potentially saved him. You could see the ghost was whacking on him. Bop happened, ghost switched to someone else, so game replay. And we just kill all this stuff, take our buffs out, go into Four Horsemen. Everyone goes to their corners. We start with pretty heavy damage on Ziliak, having 2 warriors throughout the fight. We want to have that consistently with as much damage as we can on Ziliak early, while making sure that we meet the damage checks first on Thane and then on Mograine, which we do. So I think this strategy is working pretty well for us. At this point, we can't go a whole ton faster without starting to put a couple more resources on Blamo at the start. We might send one melee DPS at Blamo just so it dies a little bit faster. One more, 2 more casters on Zeliek at the start, but I don't want to start doing that yet. But you see the general strategy here where even though we're not cleaving, we have pretty fast kill times. We kill Mograine. Everyone's doing a good job staying alive. Healers are keeping their tanks alive and themselves alive. 2 weeks ago, we had an issue where a lot of people died on their way out. I think in general, healing was just better, making sure people were topped off. Damage was better, yada yada. Just a lot of factors were all better. So we killed Blamo in a good spot. Basically, where Waumbek is standing now, we killed Blamo there a couple weeks ago. Isn't good. Need to make sure Blamo is killed in the corner. Here, where it was a fine spot. So it could have been a little bit faster on Ziliak. Like, we're all just kind of sitting here for like, what is it, 15, 20 seconds. But pretty quick here it dies, and we're good to go. So, happy with that kill time overall. And we just keep moving forward. I think we have potential to move faster in this room, but in general, pretty good pacing throughout. I'm really bad damage. Need to figure better ways to have range to help kill these slimes because the hunter is not good here. Yeah. Um, Happy with how we're moving through this area. I think a couple healers. No, no one really got stunned. Good. 1 or 2 stuns maybe, but pretty good. Just making sure that there's separation from the casters and those mobs is important. So we just continue forward into each one of these packs. Thought we do a pretty good job. And time for Patrick. So unfortunate death from Trine here. Forgot about this. So if we ever pull a Retcher at the same time as this pack, this mob just needs to be brought away, a little bit farther away, and make sure that, I mean, that mob was fine. That wasn't a perfect spot. We just can't have casters so close to Retchers. So whenever there's a Retcher, it's a knock-up mob. Casters need to be far away, where you can just die like that. It was pretty quick. Trine's full health, and boom, boom, dead. Basically two-shot. So just max range. Okay, so did someone die from Frogger? No. Yes. Okay, unfortunate. Do we get to see it from this viewpoint? We do. So it looks like a little bit of weird movement as far as he was super far away from it. Like he's past it. But the problem is the like back and forth movement made the game register even though he was past it that his game was or his character was too close to it. So through this, just straight movements, no strafing, just straight movements. That's a strafe death right there. Don't want to increase your character in any way. You just do straight movements. Okay, so um, Patrick went well. Opener was good, I think. Or was it scary? Yeah, Abusement did too much threat on the opener. So he became top threat. Very scary opener. Fortunate healers were pumping, and then Toxic takes over quickly again, and now it's safe. But that's how a tank dies when he is supposed to only be getting hit by hatefuls, and Toxic got hit by a hateful there. So you see how his health just really goes down fast. So shout out to our healers for keeping Toxic alive right there. That should have been a death. And that is why we use Imp. Right there is the difference. At least I hope we had Imp. But a little hard to tell from this viewpoint. I'm not going to bother. If I remember right, we used Imp. Maybe not, and if we didn't, definitely need to fix that because you see the like margin for error isn't a ton. Okay, I thought this boss was tanked well. Grob's a boss that really scares me when I'm not tanking it because I've just seen so many wipes that are like so trivial where it just happens out of nowhere. Sometimes when the tank is moving backwards, if it's a little bit chunky movements, all the melee move forward and then the spit happens and it's disaster. Like 10 little slimes all spawn. So tank always needs to make sure that when the spray is available, like you see Waumbek's weak aura here telling him the spray is available, just really careful with movements. As little movement as possible when the spray is available. Gluth went well. That's a pretty reliable fight for us. This boss went well. Toxic always pops Death Wish on this side, which I think is good. It allows us to really pump on this side and not be worried. So I do like that variation. At the same time, it's a little bit lower DPS for him, obviously, so he's making that DPS sacrifice, but as one of the main tanks, I'm cool with that if he's cool with it. It does scare me, though, because that left side hits so hard. Yeah, easy peasy. Final wing. I was very concerned we only had 4 decurses. So for that reason, we used resto pots, and I think they were kind of needed. Just watch this decurse timer here. Thorgene's got down to like literally 1 second, right? Like, um, 2 seconds left. We got just Thorgene's. Okay, so we did a good job. It was close. I think we kind of needed to use them. We can take a look and see how many resto pots actually affected the raid. I think it'll show. Rest of the raid pretty clean. Couple different things that could have gone slightly better, but overall, really impressed with our raid just to get through. Some couple speed bumps that we had. Matter gets really low here. He did already lose his buff, so cares a little less, but really good heals to keep him alive. And we kill this boss. Great. Glad tanks this boss for us. I think that on the opener here, we need to make sure we get more hots on Glad. Maybe get him amp magic going into it, so he gets another little bit. And Glad he's using Sapper now, that's good. I think for the first little bit of the opener, he can just use you can dual wield for like the first 5 seconds, just so people can get a little bit more um, he can get a little bit more threat reliably. Right now, he's got great threat, but the first 5 seconds is a little scary. Ideally, when um, you have all those hots on you, combined with deflask, combined with 1 or 2 healers, can heal him early if it's a disaster. I think that would help a little bit. So yeah, besides that, pretty easy peasy. It's just a little harder for me to call the healing order when I'm not the one tanking it. Um, I don't know. That's just me being bad. So we're adapting and learning over time to some different stuff. But in general, first 13 bosses were pretty good. They all lead up to Saf. It's all about Saf at the end of the day. So going into Saf, trying to use as much consumables as possible. See how Waumbek has both the Frostpot and the Shadow Pot on. That's what I want to see from as many raiders as possible. So we do lose a healer early. That's really scary. So we're now 11 healing. Not the end of the world, but when you lose 1 or 2 healers early, things fall apart quickly. Dwal got down to like 1 health there. I'm not sure if he petried, but he lived. So it's getting on the edge here. Lots of people getting really low health. Yeah, Thorjin got so low so many times. So yeah, this is where things really just continued to fall apart. I'm just kind of rewatching this in real time. At this point, we just lose more and more healers. Once you lose more healers, you just start trickling down. Curtin had the curse on him. A couple of ticks of the curse happens and just rip. So always prioritize healers. First people to be decursed. We lost multiple healers back to back to back. Um, Braves in a blizzard, that seemed like a really fast death. So Braves is one of our best healers. Curtin's a good healer. Like we just really went downhill here when we lose 4 healers. So I'm just happy we were able to finish off this boss. At this point, it's just a nuke fest. Greybush dies, so that's another good healer down. Mostly just healers though. Like at the end of the day, healers kind of sacrifice themselves, and we didn't lose a ton of DPS, so is what it is. And KT, uh, Waumbek's role is really important. If you haven't seen this strat, we have him doing kings for the first phase, so no one ever really has to worry about the skeletons besides him. He does a good job at it, so um, shout out to Waumbek if you're curious. Definitely recommend his video on it, or watch his video, I should say, and you can see it more clearly. But just using pots and dark runes, that kind of stuff. So the boss is out, and we have mind control happen, followed up with a frost blast pretty soon after. So mind control goes out, frost blast hits multiple people. So Michael gets owned really quick there. Good blind from a rogue. And now we recover. So another frost blast happens. Healers do a great job there. It's a really good recovery overall. Recover from the next frost blast, and we get back, but then another frost blast on a melee group. So that melee group frost blast really did a number on us, combined with the mind control. So we dealt with a lot of mechanics, back to back to back to back. Pretty lucky there, we didn't have it on melee, it was just on some casters for once. And we finish off the boss pretty soon after. Again, Waumbek's role in phase 3 of doing blessings is really key. Look at how much damage he's soaking here at the end. Really sick. So, GG, and that's it. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the Naxx raid. Think about it a little bit more, get it on the mind, and shout out to Waumbek for recording it. So, thanks guys. See you tomorrow.